so in love with you.
You guys, this video is going to be absolutely bonkers. First of all, welcome back to Real Estate Mindset. Today's video is the worst time to buy in the history of the U.S. housing market. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about factors on why it's the worst time to buy a house in the U.S., all-time worst time. And then we're going to talk about the factors on what turned this housing market into such a toxic seller's market. Now, if you're trying to buy right now, don't worry. I'm also going to share with you guys my opinion towards the end on when it will be time to purchase again. Now, just remember this. I'm not a financial advisor. I am a loan officer in Texas. I am a realtor in Houston. So I want the market to be doing really well right now, but as you guys know, I don't believe it's going to be doing well for a period of time. So what we're going to do is we're going to start analyzing graphs, and I'm going to start sharing with you my opinions. But before I continue, do me a favor for the algorithm. Like this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and as always, you guys, comment on this video. I'm going to be asking you guys to comment periodically through this video. Let's get started right now. So what I'm going to really do is basically just try to build a case for you guys so that to see if you agree with me. Maybe you guys think it's the best time to buy and that you should buy because houses are only going up. I don't feel that way. So I'm going to break my case down. Now, essentially what we have going on here is an inventory shortage on top of a periodic time where it's super short in inventories coming to the market. So we have short inventory on short inventory because of the time of year. Not to mention the short inventory or low inventory, we have a massive buying demand. And this is a different type of buyer that I'm seeing in the market. It's not just your first-time home buyers. The first-time home buyers right now are getting absolutely demolished. They're getting crushed. They're getting their heart ripped out of their chest. So to the first-time home buyers, calm down, you guys. It will be your time again. It just may take a little while. In the meantime, strengthen your situation. But what I have noticed is what I call a leveled up buyer. And these leveled up buyers, quite frankly, are purchasing real estate right now based on emotion and based on fear of missing out, and also leveled up in the sense that I believe a lot of these buyers are actually the sellers of real estate. So when someone goes to sell their house, they usually then become a buyer unless you do what I'm doing, which is rent. I'm renting so I can sit this one out. I'm going to sit this one out for a little bit. You guys know I'm super transparent about how I'm doing things. But this new leveled up buyer, what I believe they're doing is taking their proceeds from their sale and they're going after houses and putting in offers that they should not be putting in, which is essentially $50,000, $100,000 over the listing price. You guys, why are you doing that? Stop buying real estate. Let things calm down. So the first thing that we're going to kind of talk about now, guys, is why real estate is overpriced. I believe there's going to be a crash coming of 10 to 15% of negative equity growth. Okay. And I believe that's going to start the end of this year. Obviously, right now, things are still crazy. There's still crazy equity growth, but I believe there's going to be a crash. And I believe as a national average, like I said, 10 to 15%. But here's the thing, in certain metro areas with super high migration, I believe those metro areas, especially in the Sun Belt states, are going to be hit possibly even harder than a 15% equity loss because not all cities are equally overpriced. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to pull up the Fred economic data for the median house price. Take a look at this. Okay, so as you guys can see here, this is the 5-year graph. So this is from 2017, the average median home price in America. You can see after COVID, it shot up right here, approximately 21%. So it went from 322 in the second quarter of 2020 to 408 for the fourth quarter of 2021. So that's a 21% equity growth, guys. Now, that's as of January. It's saying the median value is 408. It's probably higher than that right now. I could see the median home value being 420 to 430. Now, I believe where homes should be and where they would be if it wasn't for COVID is more about 340 to 360 as far as a median average around the US. So as you can see, that's where I'm getting my 10 to 15% equity drop in houses. And why the houses are so overpriced right now is it was a surge, a sudden surge in equity growth, which was essentially shocking to the housing market. We have had year over year of double-digit equity growth. And also, you guys, going into Q1 of this year, now Q1 of 2022 is not done yet, but I'm seeing a crazy equity growth still. And again, that is primarily because lack of inventory. But I wanted to make that point as far as things being overpriced. And the reason why they continue to be overpriced is that fear in the market. People are dumping their cash, going over asking price. And what that's doing in turn is messing everyone else up because it is making something called a comparable sell. Now that that comparable sell is on the books as far as an inflated home price, you can now get appraisals done much easier for the home buyers that are doing loans. So this is a compounding situation. This situation is so bad for so many reasons. And I truly believe if everyone would just pause, just stop for 3 months or 6 months, things will go back to normal very quickly. Let's move on to the next subject right now. But before I move on to the next subject, I want you to pause this video and I want you to comment below about how much the housing market is going to decline in equity in your opinion, as far as 10%, 20%, 30%. Comment below. Tell me how much you think house prices are going to decline and tell me how long that's going to take. Some people have said 2023, 2024. I'm saying it will start the end of this year. Let's move on. Now, what I want to do, guys, is I'm really analyzing the market right now. So let's cover a huge one, which is inventory, right? Or supply, because we're really in a supply and demand thing right now. So the name of the game is inventory. And like I said, we have had the lowest inventory in decades. And what that's really doing is it's compounding how bad things are getting, because not only do we have the lowest inventory in decades, we are also in the months right now with historically the least amount of new listings coming to the market. That topped with the suppressed buyers that could not buy because of the COVID shutdowns, things are just really exploding. They're exploding at a very, very toxic rate. But we're going to further analyze the inventory right now. And as far as inventory, here's the thing. I'm going to focus on how we are going to start getting more inventory, because again, my opinion is we should wait to buy houses right now, because the longer that we wait in 2022, we will have more options and more inventory to choose from as a buyer. So I want to tell you guys, essentially, why is it okay to wait right now? Why do we have such little inventory? And again, I'm saying historically, we're supposed to have low inventory. Now it's compounded because of COVID. Take a look at this right now. Let's start with resale homes and the listings coming to the market. Take a look at this graph. Now, this is a Fred economic graph. You guys have seen this. This is home inventory for new listings. Look at the peaks. The peaks are May. This doesn't count because this is COVID. May, June, okay? June. So guess what? It's the inventory, the new listings is way down here, historically low. It's supposed to be low, okay? So what's really important, you guys, is that going into spring, going into summer, we get flooded with resale inventory. So we will have an increase in inventory. You do not have to buy something in March, okay? It is so toxic right now. Maybe wait a couple of months. Wait for that surge of resale homes being listed as new inventory. Let's take a look at the next rush of inventory we're fixing to get in the form of foreclosures. Take a look at this chart. Okay, now as you guys know, the foreclosure holds have been lifted. That is another reason why we have such low inventory. But if you look here, a month over month change, we have 702% additional foreclosures, which essentially means 32,900 homes are fixing to hit the housing market as inventory. Now, foreclosures are a bad thing, but this is much worse than you think because of all of the people during COVID that didn't need to go on foreclosure. We really don't know how many foreclosures are going to come. Foreclosures were banned for, I don't know, a year and a half. So that number of 32,000 is fixing to inflate, because also we have inflation. So not only are we going to get an influx of resale homes coming to the market, we are also going to get a surge in foreclosure homes coming to the market. But that's not all, you guys. Remember, one of the biggest entities that we need to rely on to kind of help fix our housing market is new home builders. I live in Houston, #2 city in the US for new home builds. I looked this morning, probably within about a 15-mile radius of my house, there are 10 construction sites. So let's take a look at how many homes, new homes, are being constructed right now. Take a look at this chart. Okay, guys, so here's the 5-year chart. This is basically housing units authorized in permit issuing, okay? So these are all the permits that were pulled. And if you look here, almost and this is in the thousands, so that's 1.8 million new permits pulled in January 2021 up until the total pulled, right? So we got the total pulled right now, 1.8 million as of February 2022. So we have 1.8 million homes that are being built right now. Now, I don't want to say that all 1.8 million, because a lot of times the new home builders won't start building until they have someone under contract. But that's just to show you guys, not only do we have the foreclosure increase, not only do we have the resale increase, we have new home builders going absolutely bonkers to get houses back in the housing market. So again, I urge you right now at this very moment, do not buy a house. It is almost a waste of money. Now, I understand there's different reasons to buy, and some people just want to buy a house and they're going to hold on to it for 20 years. Yeah, that's probably a solid investment. But what I'm trying to do is time it right so that I don't have to be in a situation to where I have negative equity loss and I'm possibly trapped in my home. That's all. Now that's inventory, you guys. Let's take a look now at demand, because we still need demand to go down and inventory up. We need both of those things to happen. So let's take a look at the demand. First, what I want to cover is investor demand. Now, going into 2022, investor demand is down significantly. There's still investors that are going to be purchasing houses, but it has been dropped significantly. Not just mom and pop shops like myself, but the people that were flipping houses are going to stop buying houses to flip, because more than likely we're not going to have double-digit equity growth, and the property flippers are going to be out of the market. One big one is Zillow. Zillow's already out of the market. I'm hoping BlackRock, because they've lost $17 billion, is also going to be out of the market. But we're going to go into a year with less demand for investors, specifically institutional investors, which I believe is a super dangerous entity for everyday Americans. We have literally corporations buying blocks of houses. That's super scary, but that is fixing to go down this year. Now, here's another one. Affordability. With the interest rate surge, all of the people that were barely able to qualify for a home loan are going to hit the ceiling. They're going to be basically washed out of the market because they can no longer qualify for a house. Now, if you remember, the reason why it feels such like a surge of increased interest rates is we got used to cheap money, okay? The rates are only going to go back to what they were before the pre-COVID. This year's probably going to go to what I'm guessing is 6% by year end, probably mid to high sixes, okay? So that's something to keep an eye on. But I'm going to show you guys the interest rates right now. Take a look at this graph. Look at this is the 5-year graph. So the rates were even higher, obviously, in 2018. But right now, you know, it went from essentially down here, shot up right there. They're still low. This is an average of 4.42. Now, I don't know why CNBC was quoting higher average interest rates. I'm not sure about that. But not only are we going to have less investor demand, we're also going to have less demand from, I believe, first-time home buyers. It's sad, but to the first-time home buyers that no longer qualify for a house, you may have dodged a bullet, okay? Go back to the drawing board, monitor your budget, shave some things off, subscriptions, going out to eat, and re-budget yourself. Get out of consumer debt and save your money, okay? So we're going to have less demand from the first-time home buyers because of those things, the surge in interest rates, not to mention inflation. Now, as we go into 2022, I believe we're also going to have less fear demand, okay? The fear of missing out demand is completely out of control. It is scary. I myself won't even look at houses right now because I know there's probably 10 families that are looking at the same house as me that have $100,000, $200,000 that they're just going to throw out the house to get it no matter what, because they have fear of missing out. As the fear of missing out leaves our housing market, things will start to stabilize again. There's also going to be less demand because the fear is there because there's no inventory. So as the inventory starts increasing throughout this year, so is the desperation. And we strongly need to get a hold of these home buyers right now, these leveled up home buyers, and just shake them and say, slow down a minute, okay? I'm just kidding. I'm just an opinion sharer. Remember that. I'm not a financial advisor. So essentially what I'm saying, guys, if you're in the market to buy a house, just wait a little bit longer. I believe we're going to start, seeing the transition from seller's market to buyer's market happen at the end of this year. Not to mention, we have a possible recession right around the corner. So it has never been more important to just take a step back, pause, make sure everything is going to be okay, watch what happens with the recession, watch what happens with the job market and the housing market, and then plan accordingly. The housing market is so dangerous right now because it's going through a transition. And I believe through that transition is going to be the biggest pain for most people and the biggest adjustments that are going to need to be made. But the thing is, you guys, if you just plan and you just do it, if you just educate yourself and empower yourself, you're going to be able to win on the other side of things. Traditionally, there's money to be made when a housing market crashes or a recession comes. And I want that to be you guys. I'm not trying to scare you to cripple you from moving forward. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying be wise. Understand that this market right now is super toxic. Okay. You guys, I'm trying not to talk too long. You guys know I can keep talking. I can keep talking. I'm gonna shut this video down. What I want you guys to do though is I want you to comment on the points that I try to make. First of all, comment on whether or not you think this year we are going to have enough inventory for it to be a shift in the market. So comment on the inventory and whether you think we're going to have enough this year. And also comment on whether or not you agree with me as far as the demand going down this year, okay? I really learned a lot from you guys, so please continue to do that. Now, other than that, guys, whether you're renting, whether you're selling, whether you're buying, I wish you luck out there and I hope you win.